At this very moment, high above the California desert, an aircraft is operating in a way that modern radar simply cannot comprehend. It isn't invisible because of altitude or speed. It is invisible because its radar return is roughly the size of a mosquito. While global superpowers have poured billions into air defense networks, the United States has just rendered those systems effectively useless. The B-21 Raider isn't merely an update to the fleet, it is a paradigm shift that makes every other bomber in existence look like an antique. Following its second test flight in September 2025, this program, shrouded in the highest levels of secrecy since the Manhattan Project, is revealing capabilities that change the fundamental math of warfare. But the real story isn't just about a new plane, it's about a leap in stealth technology so profound that it makes the iconic B-2 Spirit look primitive. Once you grasp the engineering breakthroughs hidden inside this airframe, you'll understand why military strategists around the world are in a panic. Let's analyze exactly how the B-21 Raider has redefined air power. Total radar invisibility. Let's begin with the headline feature. For 30 years, the B-20 Spirit was the king of stealth, boasting a radar cross-section comparable to a bird or a cat. That was revolutionary. However, the B-21 Raider pushes physics further, shrinking that signature to the size of an insect. Think about the implications. Defense systems built to track massive metal objects are now hunting for something smaller than a fingertip. This isn't exaggeration, it's material science. The Raider utilizes a new generation of radar-absorbent materials, RAM, that far surpass what is used on the F-22 or F-35. Instead of just deflecting radar waves, these composite structures absorb electromagnetic energy, converting it into trace heat and dissipating it. Crucially, the B-21 solves the B-2's biggest weakness. The old bomber was optimized for stealth primarily from the front. The Raider, however, features broadband, all-aspect stealth. Whether a radar ping comes from behind, below, or the sides, there are no flat surfaces or sharp angles to catch it. AI-driven design has smoothed every curve to ensure invisibility across radio, infrared, and acoustic spectrums. The digital twin advantage. What truly sets the Raider apart happened before a single bolt was tightened. Engineers flew thousands of sorties in a virtual world using a digital twin. This represents a complete overhaul of military acquisition. Every component of the B-21 exists as a precise digital replica in a secure cloud environment. This allows the Air Force to test weapons, run complex combat simulations, and troubleshoot system failures virtually. Issues that used to take months to identify are now solved in the software before they ever manifest in the hardware. This time machine capability means the B-21 evolves faster than the threat. If a new surface-to-air missile is developed, engineers can update the digital twin, test a counter tactic, and push the solution to the physical fleet immediately. Furthermore, maintenance crews now use augmented reality to overlay schematics onto the real jet, drastically reducing repair times and keeping the bomber in the sky where it belongs. Open systems architecture. The days of massive, costly overhauls to add a new radio or missile are gone. The B-21 is built on an open systems architecture. To put it simply, old bombers were like landlines. The B-21 is like a smartphone. The internal avionics are modular. As we approach the mid-2030 eras and the fleet grows to 100 aircraft, we will see technologies emerge that we cannot currently predict. Integrating these into older jets would cost billions and take years. With the Raider, it's often just a software push or a plug-and-play hardware swap. This ensures the platform remains lethal, not just for the next decade, but for the next half-century. If an adversary develops a new frequency-hopping radar, the B-21 can receive a counter-update in weeks. This aircraft was not built just to win the current war. It was built to adapt to the next one. Next-generation durability, advanced RAM. The Achilles heel of the B-2 Spirit was its skin. Its radar-absorbent coating was fragile, like a high-tech tape that required tedious inspection after every flight. This drove the B-2's operating costs to a staggering $150,000 per hour. The B-21 solves this with chemistry. The new coating isn't a tape. It is a ceramic composite baked directly into the airframe during manufacturing. It is tougher than salt and heat resistant up to 1,800 degrees. Because the stealth is structural rather than superficial, the B-21 doesn't need to sit in a climate-controlled hangar for days of taping and gluing between missions. This durability slashes the operating cost to roughly $65,000 per hour, less than half that of its predecessor. We are getting a more capable plane that we can actually afford to fly every single day. Mastering thermal invisibility. Evading radar is only half the battle. Modern air defenses rely heavily on infrared sensors to track engine heat. The B-21 addresses this with arguably the most sophisticated thermal management ever engineered. The engines are buried deep inside the fuselage, fed by serpentine air intakes that twist and turn to hide the fan blades from radar. But the exhaust management is the real breakthrough. The system mixes cool air with engine exhaust and shields the output so effectively that the aircraft's surface temperature closely matches the surrounding atmosphere. To an enemy infrared camera scanning the sky, the B-21 blends perfectly into the background cold of the upper atmosphere. This thermal camouflage neutralizes heat-seeking threats, a feat of engineering that other nations are decades away from replicating. Optionally, manned capability. Here is a feature that changes the risk calculation entirely. The B-21 Raider does not need a pilot. While the standard crew concept has been reduced to just two, a pilot and a mission specialist, the aircraft is fully capable of autonomous operation. The onboard AI acts as a tireless co-pilot, handling navigation and systems monitoring. For high-risk missions, such as deep penetration into heavily defended airspace or 40-hour endurance flights, the Air Force can choose to fly the Raider unmanned. The AI can execute complex flight paths and strike profiles with machine precision. Crucially, human commanders retain man-in-the-loop authority for lethal engagement, but the robot handles the flying. This allows the U.S. to project power into environments, chemical, biological, or nuclear, without risking a single American life. The quarterback of the sky calling the B-21 a bomber is actually an understatement. It is a flying data center and battle manager. Former Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin highlighted that the Raider's sensors and networking might be as important as its payload. The B-21 is designed to serve as the central node in a system of systems. It can stealthily penetrate enemy lines, gather data, and then relay targeting coordinates to non-stealthy aircraft, naval destroyers, or ground units standing off at a safe distance. More importantly, it serves as the controller for loyal wingman drones. A single B-21 can guide a swarm of unmanned combat aerial vehicles, UCAVs, to jam radar, draw fire, or strike targets, all while the bomber remains undetected. It communicates via directional data links that enemies cannot intercept, effectively directing the entire theater of war from the shadows. Electronic warfare dominance. Stealth prevents you from being seen. Electronic warfare, EW, prevents the enemy from working. The B-21 excels at both. Its EW suite, derived from an evolved version of the F-35 systems, allows the Raider to actively jam enemy radar and confuse missile seekers. But it's also a giant vacuum for intelligence. As it flies, it maps the enemy's electronic order of battle, identifying where their radars are and how they communicate. It can inject ghost targets into enemy screens or simply blind them with noise. Because the B-21 is stealthy, the enemy radar is jammed by a source they cannot locate. It is like fighting a ghost that is also blinding you with a flashlight. And thanks to the open architecture we mentioned, this EW suite can be updated instantly as enemies change their frequencies. Economic viability. In a surprising twist for a defense program, the B-21 is a masterclass in cost efficiency. Adjusted for inflation, the Raider is significantly cheaper to buy than the B-2 was in the 1990s. The unit cost sits around $750 million in today's dollars, compared to the B-2's $2 billion price tag. How? By using a production representative approach. The test planes aren't prototypes destined for the scrapyard. They are built on the actual assembly line using the final tooling. Additionally, nearly 40% of the fleet is already in various stages of construction at Northrop Grumman. This economy of scale, combined with the use of proven commercial components in the engines and subsystems, prevents the cost balloons seen in previous eras. This ensures the Air Force can actually build the 100-plus fleet it needs, rather than cutting orders due to budget overruns. Future-proof dominance. Finally, the B-21 is designed to secure American air superiority for the long haul. It is the cornerstone of a sixth-generation family of systems. While China and Russia rushed to develop their own stealth platforms and hypersonic missiles, the B-21 was designed with those specific future threats in mind. Its stealth is calibrated to defeat radars that don't even exist yet. Its ability to integrate with space-based assets and next-gen tankers ensures it remains the apex predator. This isn't just about catching up, it is about leaping 2 generations ahead. With production accelerating and Congress backing the program with billions in funding, the U.S. is building a fleet large enough to deter any aggression. Conclusion. The B-21 Raider is a convergence of 10 revolutionary technologies into a single, devastating platform. From maintenance-free stealth skins and thermal invisibility to AI-driven autonomy and battlefield management, it renders current enemy defenses obsolete. 30 years ago, the B-2 Spirit stunned the world. Today, the Raider makes that legend look like history, delivering superior capability at half the cost. It is a testament to American innovation and industrial might, ensuring that air superiority remains in U.S. hands for decades to come. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of aviation, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Let's recognize the engineers and pilots who make this incredible technology possible. Summary for the user. Would you like me to proceed with creating the video description or tags based on this new script?